So welcome to Solar Alberta's 2023 Annual General Meeting. My name's Jim, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors of Solar Alberta. Thanks for joining us here for your AGM. I would like to begin by acknowledging that I'm hosting today's meeting from Treaty 6. Solar Alberta is pleased to serve members of the public from all around Alberta, including those who live in Treaty 6, the traditional places of the Cree, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Métis, Dene, and Nakota Sioux. Treaty 7, the traditional places of the Blackfoot Confederacy and the Stoney Nakoda Nations. We also have Treaty 8, the traditional places of the Cree and Dene, and the regions 1 through 6, the homes of the Métis Nations of Alberta. So during our formal program, our protocol will be that we'll only have people take the microphone and speak if they're recognized by the chair, who we'll introduce shortly. We don't anticipate the need for many participants to take the microphone during the program. However, if you do feel the need to be recognized by the chair, you can express that need first by typing in the chat box, or if necessary, you could press the raise hand button on your screen if the chat doesn't work for you. It'll be the chair's discretion to determine whether it's an appropriate time to enable a member to speak or to read out the comment or question posed in the chat box on their behalf. If participants unmute themselves and speak without being recognized, that's hard for an online meeting, and they'll be given a warning and muted. And if it occurs more often, then we'll remove you from the meeting. We are pleased that we will have 30 minutes also after the meeting for everybody to stick around and chat some more if they would like, and maybe ask questions of board members or the executive director in a more relaxed manner as well. If you have any technical questions during the meeting, those can be tough to resolve. So you can message our public outreach lead, who's Mackenzie Velders, and you can do that again in the chat bar. For all of the questions, you can write them to everyone. So you can select just Mackenzie, or you could select everyone in the chat bar and let people know your thoughts. To begin this evening, I'd like to introduce the chair of this year's annual general meeting, the current president of Solar Alberta, Preet Kang.
Thanks, Jim. Welcome, everyone. As the chair of this meeting, you'll hear me pop in and out to preside over motions and such. Right now, I need to ask our board secretary, Grace Brown, to report on quorum. Grace, can you please confirm the number of members participating?
Hi, Preet. We have 15 members participating, which is quorum.
Amazing. Thank you. I hereby call this meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. Let's turn the mic back to Jim, our MC for this evening.
Thanks, Preet. I'd like to take this opportunity to also allow our staff and the other current members of the board to introduce themselves. So I'm going to start by giving the floor to our executive director, Heather. Take it away.
Yeah, hi there, everyone. Nice to see you all. I'm Heather. I'm the executive director, and yeah, pleased to be joined by 3 staff today who I'll let introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Sally Hamill. I'm the membership services lead, and I've been with Solar Alberta since June of last year.
Sonia.
Hi everyone, my name is Sonia Galadar and I recently just joined the team. I am the course coordinator and I think I've been here for a little over 2 or 3 weeks now, so yeah. I'm excited to be part of the team. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie Velders. I'm the public outreach lead at Solar Alberta and I've been with the organization for just under 2 years now.
Wonderful. And in no particular order, if the board members, well, I guess a particular order, Daryl, if you don't mind jumping in.
Hi, Daryl Kaminsky, past president, been with the board about 3 years and a member for about 5.
Quan Wong, board treasurer, been with Solar Alberta as a board member for about 1 year now and a volunteer for 2.
Hi, I'm Jeff Lee, chair of the HR committee, and been lucky enough to serve on the board for about 3 years now.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Sheila Innes, and I'm happy to engage with Solar Alberta on the ESG committee, the ethics committee, and the fundraising committee. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Alex Koo. I have been with the board for over 1 year now, and I work with Tiny Power and in the solar industry. Thank you, guys.
Amazing, thank you. And unfortunately tonight we are missing a few board members. Kim, who is our vice president, Dale, who is our ethics chair, and Tajrin, who is our board intern, as well as Emad.
I'm here still. Sorry,
Oh,
I
good,
made.
you are.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Apologies, everyone. I'm Margaret here.
Sorry, Emad, I was looking for your screen.
It's all good.
No problem.
Yeah, so I've been with Solar Alberta for a year, and I'm currently the general manager for Renewable Division of Master Canada. And happy to be here today.
Perfect. Thanks, everybody. So now we've got the meeting call to order. We're going to start by going over what our agenda items will be for the evening. Tonight, we're going to have a brief voting and tech tutorial because, of course, we're online. Then we'll seek approval for the meeting minutes from our last annual general meeting from 2022. After that, we're going to do an overview of our 2021-2022 annual report. Then we'll have our treasurer's report, followed by a motion to accept our 2021-2022 financial statements. We'll also have a motion to approve some amended bylaws, and then we'll hold our board member election vote for the 4 positions that we need to fill. And finally, and this one's pretty exciting, we now have a lifetime membership award, and so we'll be announcing the recipients of that one. And we'll be doing that every year going forward as well, so that's fantastic. So before we begin, ask that any questions or comments during the AGM, we'll make sure that we're providing these in a respectful manner. We don't want to have disrespectful manners, as of course we are volunteers, we're board members, we're staff who are really moving forward together to try to make solar and other energy efficiency a big successful thing in Alberta. Thanks again for your attendance this evening. And with that, we'll go to our voting tech tutorial. So I'll hand it over to you, Heather. Take it away.
Great, thanks, Jim. All right, so as mentioned previously, there is a chat function in Zoom. I see many of you have already started using it, but if you're new to Zoom, you can find it in the toolbar that is typically along the bottom of your screen. In the chat box, you can chat with other participants individually or as a whole. You can ask questions of the host or co-hosts. And then, of course, you can also second motions by typing in second. All voting on motions this evening will be done through a Zoom poll. Polls will automatically appear on your screen. Anyone can second a motion in order to move it to a vote by typing I second in the chat. Please write comments or questions about motions in the chat area during the discussion phase. If you can't do this for some reason, you can click the raise hand button, which should be also in your toolbar. And then we will be voting for the 4 new board members this evening using an online Google form. The hyperlink to vote is going to be placed in the chat when the time comes, so don't worry about that. And just so you know, for the Google form, which we'll review again later, we just ask that you don't hit submit until you're really comfortable with your 4 choices, because there's really no do-overs in this format. So you'll need to use the email that you registered for this event with on the Zoom form, or sorry, the Google form, as we're going to be verifying all the voters using that information. We do have a secondary emails for a couple of you, just in case you can't remember which one you use, but for the most part, we really hope you use the same one you registered with, because that causes a lot of confusion if not. All right, turning it back over to you, Jim.
Thanks, Heather. So, of course, we have to practice this motion. So I'm going to make a motion. I move that Solar Alberta declares Alberta to be sunny.
This is where I come in as chair of this meeting and ask for a seconder to the motion. That can come from any of the Solar Alberta members participating in this meeting. If you want to second the motion, just enter a note in the chat saying I second. Do we have a seconder?
I see Daryl's hand go up really quick, but he's just the first section on my screen. Did somebody else?
Daryl, was that meant to be a seconder or? Yes, okay.
I also see Sheila and Guy and Wanda are all seconding in the chat.
Oh.
So you've got a lot of aggressive seconders here.
That's great.
That's amazing. I'll take the first one from the chat, which is Sheila. Thank you, Sheila. Okay, So Sheila seconds the motion. At this point, I will ask if there are any comments or questions on the motion. If you have any, you may type those in the chat section or click the raise hand button if you are not able to access the chat box. All members participating are welcome to submit questions or comments in the chat function anytime between when a motion has been presented and when we vote. I'll check the chat now. Yay, sun. I like sun. Amazing. I hope we all do. Okay, next, I ask our staff to share the motion in the form of a poll to all participants. Okay, so you should now all be able to vote for or against the motion. If you are signed in on a tablet, computer, or phone, you may need to touch a button at the top of your screen labeled something like poll available. Please go ahead and vote now. This is for practice. Okay. Are all the votes in, Mackenzie?
We have 17 out of 21 votes in right now.
Sure. We'll wait a little bit longer.
I think it's a strong enough majority. You could probably go with it.
Amazing. Okay. So if everyone appears to have figured out how to vote, Mackenzie, will you please share the results?
Yes, so we have 18 out of 18 votes in favor of Solar Alberta being sunny.
Thank you. The motion passes. Back to you.
That is a relief. Okay. So, so now that we know how to do that, well, later on when we do voting for various agenda items, we'll be good to go. So the next thing we'll do is address the motion regarding the 2022 AGM minutes. The motion was provided in your meeting package that I hope you got to have a look at, and the minutes themselves were provided in that same PDF. If you did not have the chance to review this information, we'll put that up as a link. Thank you, Mackenzie, and you can check that. So with that said, now I need to make a motion, and so I'll do that, and then Preet will take over from that. So I will make the motion, move to approve the attached minutes from the 2022 CISA AGM held on March 16th, 2022.
Would anyone like to second this motion? Please go ahead and use the chat. Awesome, thank you, Amy. Amy seconds the chat. So we will now also just wait a minute for questions or comments in that same chat section. No questions or comments about the AGM minutes?
I should make one point that the organization, we refer to it as Solar Alberta, but we're actually registered with the government as the Solar Energy Society of Alberta, if you're curious why the CISA designation.
Thank you, Jim. You should now all be able to vote on this motion. Please go ahead. Mackenzie, does that look right? Oh, look, okay. Amazing. So are most of the votes in there?
Yes, and everyone has voted yes as well.
19, awesome. Okay, so thank you. The motion passes. Now Jim and I will review the fiscal year 2022. Solar Alberta's fiscal year 2022 saw continued improvement in the transparency, accountability, and professionalism of the society, while finding new ways to generate revenue and serve both the members and public. Internally, the board engaged in strategic planning and established a new mission, vision with guiding beliefs, and practices that will orient the organization's operations in key focus areas over the coming years. In the continued transition from a working board to a governance board, the board of directors has been working to identify gaps to determine how to best add value to the organization. Externally, I'm very pleased to report that we significantly expanded our advocacy and outreach efforts, furthering education regarding solar and related technologies. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the board of directors for their many contributions. You are awesome. A special thanks goes out to Daryl, Maham, Dale, and Kim, who have contributed so much to Solar Alberta, but sadly won't be returning to the board following the AGM today. I wish all of you success in your future ventures, whatever shade of green they may be.
Good. And I'm proud to share the new vision and mission that the board developed through the strategic planning that Preet had mentioned last year. So our new vision is to accelerate Alberta's transition to a just and sustainable energy future. And to accomplish this vision, we advocate, educate, and serve as an industry and community hub for solar energy. Good. Now about about development of various courses. We have industry-focused live courses, and in those, we educated 243 students in 2022 by delivering unique courses on 7 different topics. And this included our new Working with Wire Providers course. And overall, we found that there's a 58% increase in students from last year. This last year, we also launched a new service, and that offers a pre-recorded version of courses for purchase. And we had 31 of our pre-recorded professional development courses actually purchased that way. This year, we also began offering a diversity discount code for our classes as part of our commitment to a just and sustainable energy transition in Alberta. The goal, one second, my apologies. The goal of this discount is to help increase the accessibility of our courses for equity deserving people. This will help to further diversify the solar sector in Alberta. This code is intended for those who have barriers to equal access, opportunities, and resources due to disadvantage and discrimination. Between the summer and our fiscal year end in October, we had 3 individuals given the code, with 2 using the discount over 4 courses. For public engagement within the fully sponsored 2021 to 2022 solar seminar series, we were pleased to offer seminars on 7 unique topics online with over 560 live online attendees and more than 850 views of the recordings. And if you don't know this, these are available on Solar Alberta's website. Additionally, we hosted 4 different networking style events this year. And the first one of those was Solar Alberta's 30-year reunion event. So congratulations to us on 30 years, by the way. A virtual open house for post-secondary institutions in the sustainability realm. A tour of commercial solar installations in Edmonton, and a networking and trade show event in Calgary in partnership with Passive House Alberta. And in total, we had attracted over 220 people with those opportunities. Regarding our solar show, in February 2022, we hosted the most cost-effective solar show we've ever had. The 2020 solar show had 12 sessions over 5 days. Traditionally, we had been hosting the solar show in Edmonton in a face-to-face manner, but since hosting online, we've noticed that we are able to reach a much broader audience. The 2022 solar show had over 600 attendees, so that was very successful. The people joined in from across Alberta and from beyond as well. When we look at the percentages, 43% of the registrants were from Edmonton, 32% from Calgary, 19% were from outside of Alberta, and approximately 4% were from rural Alberta. The free solar show content is available for viewing on our YouTube channel. If you didn't know we have a YouTube channel, we've got a YouTube channel, along with 2021 and 2023 content. There's also that paid content for all three shows, and that's available as recordings on our Solar Alberta website store. And so you can also watch things that way. All right, so then in terms of our memberships, it held pretty steady for the beginning of the fiscal year to the end. And as of October 31st, 2022, we had 356 members. From a revenue perspective, we've seen an increase due to the increase in membership fees midway through 2021, and the fact that several of our members have grown in size throughout the past year. In addition to our members, we're also pleased and very thankful to have over 50 general volunteers, 30 casino volunteers, 12 board volunteers, and 5 CSL volunteers. This year, we've also introduced a number of new services for our members, including occasional passes and discounts to partner events and extensive advocacy at all levels to government. For our business members in particular, we began offering a group health benefits plan. Additionally, we started offering the opportunity for business members to include their job postings on our weekly Solar Jobs Roundup, which is pushed out across all of our different social media platforms. Now, with public outreach, this past year, we continued to track the demographics of those attending our events so that we could use that information to improve what we were programming in future years and to diversify our audience. Compared to last year, we have reached a more diverse audience. A few interesting stats include we've had 20% more women attending things and 14% increase in Indigenous attendees as well. In addition to our regular education programs, we delivered 47 presentations and interviews in the community. And this allowed us to spread the word about solar to an additional 8,000 people, which is pretty remarkable. In terms of public outreach, we've also been working hard to increase our presence on social media. Our social media following grew by about 2,250 followers, and we are currently reaching over 11,500 people. Our LinkedIn followers doubled this fiscal year, and we've seen an excellent growth on Facebook and Twitter as well. In addition to increased social media content and engagement, in June 2022, we started tracking our newsletter following. As of October 22, we had approximately 5,300 people, members and non-members, subscribed to our general newsletter. So we're definitely working hard and being successful at getting the information out there to the public. All right, and we have some corporate sponsors. We'd really like to take this opportunity to thank them, including NMAX and ATCO. As you would imagine, our corporate sponsors are very important to Solar Alberta's work to advocate and educate towards a just and sustainable energy future. And with that, I would now like to call upon the Treasurer of Solar Alberta, Nicholas Kwan Wong, to present the Treasurer's Report.
Thanks, Jim. Now for everyone's favorite segments, the graphs. So here we've got our 2020/2021 and our 2021/2022 revenues as well as expenses. So just the blue bars are the fiscal year 2021 and the red bars are 2022. So there have been some significant changes in our revenues and expenses between 2021 and 2022, just given something called COVID. But still, overall, we're in a pretty healthy financial position. So from the revenue front, so the top graphs that you see there, overall, we are down since last year, since the various government COVID supports as well as grants have been pulled back. That being said, the team's been doing a good job to increase the revenue through other means. So through our memberships, as well as our training programs, our casinos and raffle, as well as our trade shows. On the expense front, the bulk of our expenses, as to be expected, are from salaries, just given that our organization focuses on delivering services. So our salaries have increased this past year, just given that we're essentially increasing the scope of the services we offer. So for instance, the staff have been working hard to provide additional outreach events and increase the quality of those outreach events, as well as increase the quality of our member services and additionally delivering on Solar Alberta's mission in general. Additionally, there's some additional staff time, saying the word additional a lot, but additional staff time for planning and operating the solar show, whereas these were previously run. And finally, some of the increased salaries and staff expenses are for the purpose of freeing up Heather's, our executive director's time to start and lead our advocacy work, to support the board work, and to also really generate and foster a relationship with over 30 different organizations. So in terms of the trends on their revenues and expenses, while they may be a bit of a concern on first glance, it is important to remember that it's been a bit of a transitory year away from government pandemic supports and back towards operating normally, having casinos and raffles again, and delivering on Solar Alberta's mission with additional staff. Finally, I just want to touch upon our reserve fund, which right now sits in the financial reports as about $43,000. Our board is aiming to maintain about 1 quarter or 3 months worth of expenses. And we've kept this in mind when we approved the fiscal year 2023 budget back in October, which has a projected slight deficit of $5,000. So our board, as well as the staff, are just closely watching this as the year progresses. But overall, our position still maintains, is well maintained. So moving on to the tabular non-graph information. From a cash flow perspective, we're quite healthy. Most of our assets are held in cash, and we've got more than the sufficient amounts for daily operations, so no concerns there. You'll notice there's a $107,000 liability for deferred contributions related to operations. Essentially, that's just a function to accounts for our accounting method where our memberships and other services have been paid, but the services have not been delivered upon. So if you're wondering why there's a big number under the liability there, that's the reason why. Again, under our net assets tab, you can see about the $43,000 reserve fund that we had mentioned there. And yeah, again, try to target that, around the $40,000 to $50,000 range. Overall, the full financial statements were included as part of the AGM package that Heather sent out a couple of weeks ago. And it's also available on the Solar Alberta website viewing if you could use more graphs and charts in your life. So overall, we're in a healthy financial position. We are watching the 2023 budget closely to keep our reserve fund healthy. But yeah, no concerns there.
Okay, thanks, Nick. So we'll make a move. We'll have a second. We'll have time for questions, etc. So I move to accept the attached, reviewed and approved fiscal year 2022 financial statements for the Solar Energy Society of Alberta as presented by the Treasurer at our 2023 AGM.
Hey.
Would anyone like to second the motion? Thank you, Nick. And do we have any questions or comments? Please go ahead, raise your hand, or you can place them in the chat section if they're for Nick or for Heather. Okay. If there are no questions or comments on the motion on the floor, we will now move to vote. Fantastic results in 2022, says Amy. Thank you. Mackenzie, would you please share the motion to all participants for a vote? Okay, you should now be able to vote on this motion. Please go ahead and do that now. Are those the votes in, Mackenzie?
Yes, we have 16 in favor and 0 not in favor.
Thank you so much. The motion passes.
Okay, good. So next on the agenda, as you can see on screen, we're going to address the motion regarding the bylaws, the 2023 bylaws. The motion was provided in your meeting package. If you didn't have a chance, we'll provide you a link right away in the chat. There we go. So with that, I now move to approve the repealing of the Solar Energy Society of Alberta bylaws for 2022 and replace with the attached Solar Energy Society of Alberta bylaws for 2023.
Would anyone like to second this motion? Thank you, Daryl. So Daryl seconds the motion. Let's take some time here for any questions or comments. Thank you so much for all those who were involved in helping with updates to the bylaws. It was quite a bit of work. Okay. I'm not seeing any more questions or comments, so we can now move to vote. Mackenzie, could you again please share the motion for all participants to vote? Thanks. And then now you should all be able to. Please go ahead. Okay, Mackenzie, are all the votes in?
Majority are. We have 15 in favor and 0 not in favor.
Okay. Thank you. The motion passes. Okay. So now it is time to elect the 4 volunteers who will replace the 4 departing board members. As a volunteer policy governance board, the board manages the work of the executive director and provides high-level oversight to Solar Alberta. The board's areas of focus are finance, fundraising, human resources, environmental, social governance considerations, as well as solar industry educational needs and ethics. We aim to attract skilled and committed individuals to help fulfill our mandate. It is also our aim to have a board which reflects the diversity of the communities we serve. We are fortunate to have an impressive pool of 16 Solar Alberta members willing to take on this important responsibility. You should have all received in your attendance package a list of all the candidates. Hopefully, you have had the time to review all candidates and decide on the 4 candidates you are voting for. Mackenzie, would you please post a link to the meeting package now, just in case anyone needs to quickly glance again? Thank you. We required that candidates submit their information early and provide this information to you and all in advance in order to ensure you all have the chance to be well informed before voting. The board also reviewed the candidates and flagged their recommended 4 with you at the top of the candidate package, which was included in your meeting package. When determining the recommended board members for the coming year, the current board considered a wide variety of factors, including experience with Solar Alberta and the solar industry, regional representation, diversity, and knowledge and skills that related to the needs of the board at this time. This all said, please note that Solar Alberta's membership is free to vote for whomever they choose, based on whichever criteria they deem important. A secret ballot will be used to protect voter anonymity. Please note that all candidates have committed to serving an initial 3-year term of office, volunteering approximately 3 to 5 hours per week, attending board meetings, participating on board committees, providing fundraising and promotional support, and supporting our mission in general. All candidates are also required to openly identify potential conflicts of interest and adhere to Solar Alberta's bylaws, board code of conduct, and policies. Those of us currently serving on the board encourage you to consider the value of specific experience and expertise to our board, as well as the value of diversity in a group making important governance and policy decisions. The board of directors of Solar Alberta would prefer that the voting membership selects board members who possess qualities which may include the following: legal expertise, including knowledge of regulations related to the not-for-profit sector, advocacy insights and broad connections, financial acumen with current knowledge of accounting practices, and lastly, education or experience with human resource management. You will now have the opportunity to vote for 4 of these 16 candidates to serve on our board. Here is how to vote. Shortly, you will see a link in the chat. That link will take you to an online Google ballot form listing all of our candidates. The 4 board recommended candidates are indicated at the top of the list. Note you will need to enter your first and last name. We need your name to confirm that we only count the votes of individual members and only 1 vote per member. This is keeping with our bylaws. So we will only accept ballots with a member name. No Solar Alberta members will be involved in the vote count, and staff will ensure each person's vote is kept confidential. We have 2 individuals overseeing the ballots collection. First is Heather Mackenzie, our executive director, who is not a member of Solar Alberta, as no staff are permitted to be. And next, Haley Papato, our former course coordinator and a current volunteer of Solar Alberta. She's not a member yet and has kindly agreed to voluntarily help oversee this process and inspect the election results as they come in. Haley and Heather will independently assess the returns. Once the membership and registration associated with each vote is confirmed, and they have double checked that there was just one vote per member, they will send their final tally to 3 board members who will ensure that the assessment of the 2 counters is the same. Mackenzie, would you please share that link now? Thank you. All members, please click on the link to the Google voting form in the chat. You can go ahead and start voting for the 4 candidates now. You can also type in the chat function to Mackenzie if you're having any issues. Let's take a few minutes here until all votes appear to be in. Please don't feel rushed. When you are done, just click on the submit button. A couple of things about that submit button. If you are having any trouble finding it, you may need to scroll down. It is at the very bottom of the ballot below the list of candidates. If you are on a phone or tablet, you may need to scroll the whole screen as well as the poll inside the screen. Also, please double check your ballot before hitting submit. We have no way to change or reset your vote once it's submitted. Now I'll leave you with some quiet space to complete your ballots. We should have got some music for this part.
I'm sure you don't mind singing to us, do you, Preet?
Oh, I have a terribly flat voice, so yes, I wouldn't mind.
Just a rousing, "Oh Canada," that'll do.
Oh yeah. How's the voting going, Mackenzie?
Just give me 1 second. My computer felt the need to refresh all of the tabs.
we have 18 votes so far. And so I think we're waiting on 2 more, if my count is correct. We're now at 19 votes.
How many are we waiting for? Would you know?
I think there are 20 voting members here. Oh, actually, and you can vote in this one, right, Preet? You're allowed to vote, I think. Or you're only voting if there's a tie break, actually, aren't you? Right?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, so I think if anyone is yet to vote, perhaps they could mention that in the chat. I suspect there might be one person on the phone call right now who might just be otherwise occupied. So the 19 are looking solid. And it's a good majority of folks.
Sure. Okay, I believe we have a clear majority vote. Thank you for your participation, everyone. Heather and Haley will now begin the process of confirming and tabulating the vote. They will double check the returns to ensure that only votes for members in good standing are included and that only 1 vote is counted for each member. We will share the final verified results as soon as possible with all members via email. And if we are able to do this quickly enough, we can do it before concluding the meeting.
Okay, great. Thanks, Preet. Well, if I talk really slowly, that'll give them more time to do the counting. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up our event. We're delighted to announce that we have, for the first time, been able to offer inaugural lifetime membership awards to 4 candidates. All of the award winners were nominated by Solar Alberta members because they have been longtime dedicated contributors to solar in our province. So please join me in congratulating, in no particular order, Rayanne Wadey, Ken Hogg, Warren Saurer, and David Dodge. So let me tell you a little bit about each of our first inaugural members. Rayanne Wadey is humble and leads by example. She is one of the first graduates from the Alternative Energy Program at NAIT, and she worked in the solar industry as an installer and an electrician. She's now a Red Seal electrician and instructor at the Alternative Energy Program at NAIT. She is an excellent teacher and approaches teaching in a methodical way that makes learning complex concepts easier and faster to grasp. And I have the privilege of working with her on a regular basis. So congratulations, Rayanne. Ken Hogg is a committed volunteer, advocate, and a subject matter expert for the just energy transition. In 2004, he created the small Calgary Renewable Energy Meetup Group. Then in 2011, in response to a need to encourage the discussion of renewable energy with a larger audience, the Alberta Renewable Energy Alliance was formed. Ken has also taught his in-depth 10-week renewable energy systems technology program at the University of Calgary from 2003 to 2019. Many of his graduates have gone on to work in the renewable energy industry and make powerful and lasting contributions in response to the global climate change emergency. Warren Saurer is a former chair of Solar Alberta and helped us achieve our first Emerald Award in 2013. During Warren's time as chair, he helped Solar Alberta become a trusted source of solar knowledge. He demonstrated leadership through modeling and pioneering work in the solar field. Not only did he establish the first solar investment cooperative in the Edmonton region, but his own solar company works out of a zero net energy building that he retrofitted. Warren has advocated for a fair transition by championing solar investment cooperatives and by supporting Edmonton Community League's uptake of solar by helping to educate the communities served by the leagues and installing the systems. And David Dodge has been a tireless advocate for both microgeneration and utility scale solar in Alberta. His multimedia storytelling project, Green Energy Futures, is a huge resource for the renewables and efficiency sectors, and his involvement with community leagues in Edmonton has led to multiple arrays being installed on community buildings. David is a strong believer in serving and educating the public in the interest of a more sustainable future for all. So congratulations to all 4 of you. It's great to have you be our first lifetime members.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I know we're not supposed to unmute, but that's pretty cool. Congratulations.
There are a ton of people who've made huge difference for Alberta and our sustainability and our sustainable future. And it's a shame that a lot of people don't know, but they're going to know more and more as we have this transition in our energy systems moving forward. Let me do a quick check-in with perhaps with Heather. Let me just have a thought here. Yeah. Perhaps with Preet, do we have our counting completed?
I think we are supposed to wait for the results to be sent via email to both of us.
Okay. Let me do a quick check over there because I haven't.
I've sent my email, and Haley will hopefully have hers too in a little bit here.
Okay, I'm going to sharpen my pencil. I'm going to check my email. Give me a second.
If you give me 2 minutes, then I'll send it.
No problem.
Okay, everybody, I'm going to juggle some kittens. And no, I'm
not. Rocky's asking about the Lifetime Award recognitions. Rocky, we're going to be sharing the announcements on social media this week, and also it's up on our website soon, so you'll be able to share widely. Absolutely.
And when people have a chance, if you're on LinkedIn or any of the other platforms that we're using, once those congratulations have been posted, if you're willing to repost those, that will actually create a little bit more momentum with the old algorithms, and that might be good and catch a bit more attention for Solar Alberta and our mission as well.
Building up the excitement.
So we're just waiting for a confirmation that I believe will come in the next little bit from Haley.
I just sent it, so let me know if you don't get it, because that means I wrote something down wrong.
Drum roll, let's hope that you wrote the same thing as I did. Pressure's on.
Just checking too. Okay, yeah, I've got a confirmation. But Preet, as chair, I believe it's your privilege.
Thank you. I was going to ask if you wanted to do it, but I could do it. Amazing. Thank you for putting those together, Haley and Heather. So I want to start by saying thank you to everyone who applied. There was incredible and diverse range of skills and experience and background, and that was really cool to see. So without further ado, the 4 new board candidates for this coming cycle are Amy McKinnon, Joby Yellowdirt, Renee Alessio, and Scott Robson. Congratulations to you 4.
That brings us to the end of our 2023 AGM. So congratulations to lifetime members and congratulations to our new board members. And thank you for those who are retiring from the board for your hard work. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the staff, the board members, and the volunteers who worked so hard this last year, contributing to the continued success of our organization. As well, we'd like to thank all of our members, partners, and corporate sponsors for their continued support. Without you, none of this would be possible. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and follow us on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also be aware that we're currently looking for contributions to our online silent auction, and we're running a crowdfunding campaign as well with the government of Alberta matching all donations. So if you'd like to double that, that's a possible, double your donation, that's possible. So we'll pop a link for that into the chat. Okay, we are also hosting a session about energy efficiency and solar on April 20th at noon. I'd like to take this opportunity to encourage you to register and attend for that. And we'll put that in the that link in the chat as well, so that that chat's filling up. And over to you, Preet.
Thank you so much, Em, for taking on the MC role tonight. I now officially declare this meeting adjourned at 7:52 p.m. However, all of you are welcome to stay on and visit. We look forward to seeing you at our future events. Thank you again and have a great night.